Hey folks, still on this late September trip on the road between Bathurst and Cowra, coming back from the second day of bushwalking and just taking time to profile this one, heading to Bathurst for another bushwalk tomorrow. And this is on the side of the road. I'm hoping I can drown out the traffic noise a bit. This is a beautiful Acacia vestita. The weeping Boree is the main name that it goes by. It is commonly cultivated and it has naturalised outside its range, but where I am now, this is its main habitat. So I'm sort of within the geographic range now. I'm just going to go down slope here so we can get away from the traffic a bit. This one's a pretty good size. It would be, oh man, I reckon it's about 6 metres wide, 7 metres wide, but they only get to about 4 metres tall most of the time. These will normally grow in dry sclerophyll forest up a rocky slope if I got them in their natural habitat, up on a rocky slope. I'd say this one is probably sort of naturalised on the roadside here. They are commonly planted. The main geographic area is the New South Wales central tablelands and western slopes. Bathurst, Orange, Dubbo, maybe towards Mudgee, maybe down towards Wagga Wagga. Someone got a record around Bega in 1890, and that one's a bit dubious. They're not meant to be natural in Victoria, but there are a scattering of records through Victoria, maybe naturalisations. There's some records around Melbourne as well. And there are some records west of the Armidale area where they reckon they're probably naturalisations too. So the central tablelands and western slopes of New South Wales, that's meant to be its primary habitat and where it's thought to occur. We've got these beautiful short phyllodes which are hairy a lot of the time. And they're meant to be only to 2 centimetres long and 1 centimetre wide. They've got trying to describe the shape, sort of shortly ovate to sort of elliptic with a really prominent mucro. That's commonly what you see in vestita. Very hairy. It's amazing, isn't it, what you can see there? And I think the older ones might tend towards going glabrous, but otherwise they'll keep their hairs. Yeah, pretty hairy all the way through. But I've grown them in a garden before, and sometimes you see them going glabrous just when they get a little bit older. Maybe there it's getting more of an example of just going a bit more glabrescent, but the stems are well and truly hairy, as are the new phyllodes. They're densely clustered, and according to one website, at least, New South Wales Flora, there's no glands. They're meant to be absent. So I can muck around here looking for glands, but they are meant to be absent. Just going to see if that stacks up on Wattle Web. Wattle Web is saying there is a gland, but it's very obscure. It's very hard to see. But it might be there either at the pulvinus or up to 15 mil above the pulvinus. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to bother looking for it very long, but there is a gland there which is really obscure. So it might be hard to see. We know by now I've got to get these phyllodes at the right angle to pick the glands up. I got it on Paradoxa eventually, really nicely. Got to have them at the right angle. And maybe it might be too hard to do with the phone. But possibly there's a gland there somewhere. Just the arrangement of the leaves and the appearance, it probably makes the gland a bit obsolete. In looking for it for identification, but it's meant to be there somewhere. It is described as obscure. I might just give up on the gland. I should have said before, it can be a tree to 8 metres tall. Here's our inflorescences. Maybe they're just past their best, but they're still in full cry. And they are to 6 centimetres long coming out of the leaf axils. So we got these beautiful globular heads coming out of the leaf axils to 6 centimetres long. They're a gorgeous golden yellow. Really beautiful. Sorry, just chucking back. The phyllodes are a nice bluey green colour. So they're a nice blue grey glaucus. These are sort of greeny grey. These ones here vary into bluey grey. And then these beautiful 6 centimetre long inflorescences. I think New South Wales Flora says up to 25 heads. Up to 25 coming out in a beautiful spray. You can see them here. If I get the branches in the right place, because everything's so clustered, they're just a bit hard to see the separate units coming out. But there's one of these sprays coming out of a leaf axil. Each globular head is said to have 15 to 30 flowers. So they're going to be clustered pretty tight in there because each globular head is well and surely less than 1 centimetre wide. I reckon they're about 8 mil wide, or maybe 5 mil wide, each globular head. So to get 15 to 30 flowers in there, they're going to be bloody tiny. Packing them in. Just looking around while I look outside the phone. I'm trying to get some in bud. But all here, they're well and truly in full flower. I can't seem to get any that might be in the bud stage. They're just well and truly flowering. So 15 to 30 flowers per head, up to about 25 heads in up to a 6 centimetre long raceme or spray. Here they're putting on the good evidence for it. These ones here, if I can get branches out of the way of each other, these ones here are up to 5 centimetres long or so. That one would be up to about 6. So quite beautiful. Just coming out of those junctions there at the leaf axil, just above the leaf. So I'll snap this off. If the branch is going that way, there's the beautiful flowers coming off. Gorgeous. They're a real deep yellow. I'd say, yeah, maybe moving into from the cream to the deep golden yellow. They're probably sort of halfway through the spectrum or moving into the deep golden. Maybe as they age, they get a bit more deeper yellow. Absolutely beautiful. It's a really popular garden plant, this one. I've grown them in Sydney on the sandstone and they do fine. Really beautiful. They're popular at Australian Plant Society in Sutherland. Plenty of members have got some. Really, really nice. When the pods are finally produced, they're to 11 centimetres long and 15 mil wide. So again, we got a long skinny pod. I can't see any being developed at the moment, but to 11 centimetres long and 15 mil wide once they get going. I've got just the maybe tiny buds here coming on. And we could count the flowers on those, but yeah, we can see they're numerous anyway. But again, to get 15 flowers in one of these, the globular heads, they're just not that big. They're really on the small side. But 15 to 30 tiny flowers in there, quite amazing. So that's vestita. It's normally found naturally on higher rocky hillsides, maybe growing with things like polyanthemos and maybe Eucalyptus dwyeri, but it well and truly thrives outside that habitat. And this is probably a one as good as any. If you got one in the woodland, I'd say they wouldn't be as prolific as this one here. But being inside its natural range, I think this one's fair game to sort of grab. Let's have a look. Got ant, you can see the ants all over it again. Check out the ants there. They're defending the plant. They're now jumping on me to try and sting me, I would imagine. They're only the little black ants. That's a really good thing to observe, just the ants protecting it. But there's some in bud. So we could easily count the separate flowers, but getting well and truly over 10 anyway, per head. Beautiful, the ants are going nuts all over my fingers, so I'll leave them alone. Again, they'd just be, I reckon we'd have to say tens of thousands of flowers on the plant. You know, you might well get 100,000 by the time you're done. Just incredible. That's a beautiful weeping boree.